Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a little stream here this evening. The Pentagon has issued prepare to deploy orders for 1,500 active duty soldiers from the 11th Airborne Division, especially trained for Arctic conditions. This is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. This is going to be negotiated. Sometimes you got to force negotiations, I guess. That's what Trump's doing. Trump is at the football game. Trump is at the college football game. The people are pissed. Dude, there's all these pampered college football fans who are pissed. They're like, they screwed up the security. There's too much security. They just complain about everything. But Rubio wanted to go. You know, Rubio roots for Miami. His son is on Florida or whatever. But yeah, they root for Miami. I think Indiana's gonna win. Mendoza. Yeah, Mendoza's a good player. It's crazy how quickly he ascended, though. 11th Airborne is going to Minneapolis. Try Greenland. They're going to Greenland, sir. Don Lemon needs to. He really should go to jail or something. This is the thing with all of these protests that have turned into. Anytime this is, and it's tough because the way it's set up, you really can't. You're kind of powerless unless you do the Insurrection Act. But if they are doing something to impede law enforcement from making an arrest, which is really their goal because they hate ICE, they need to be arrested for obstructing law enforcement. It's that simple. The problem is all the local jurisdictions are extremely liberal. If all the local jurisdictions are liberal, they're going to let these people out. You know, there were liberals bragging, saying they were assaulting ICE, they were throwing things at ICE, and then they get booked, and then they just get let out because the local authorities are liberal and they support, I guess, violence against ICE. That's how it is with a lot of these people. And then they go in and they disrupt a religious service. These people need to be arrested. This is not allowed. You can't do this. So are they going to be arrested or not? I mean, it seems kind of ridiculous. There should be a mass arrest event to where a lot of people get arrested for obstruction. You have to let them do their jobs. This really is it's impeding democracy. Democracy calls for mass deportations. And so they don't want to do the mass deportations because they think it's mean. I don't understand. And they say, well, what about this American citizen that got detained? Yeah, it's like 0.001% of them are American citizens. It's complete horseshit. Nobody's illegal on stolen land. Well, they stole it from each other. The Native Americans stole it from each other. They weren't even born here. They migrated over the Bering Strait anyways. It's complete bullshit. The United States is set up as a country. So we get to dictate who's legal or illegal because it's our jurisdiction, because we're the ones that have a set country. Native Americans were fighting with each other. They didn't have a set country. They didn't have law and order. That's why when we came over, we took over. Tim Walz. Tim Walz is irrelevant at this point. Tim Walz is now saying we need to turn the temperature down. This guy's just irrelevant. Who cares? The Somali scam got him. He can't even run for re-election because of it now. The entire world is on stolen land. No, 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 no. Let's just allow the entire third world to come into our country because we stole it from Native Americans, even though we set up the entire country. It's a first world country. It has like the highest standard living for middle class people of any major country with a population over 100 million. But we must let in everybody because we have white guilt. I have this seething white guilt. I have to let everyone in. Yeah, we give them reservations in private areas. So Europe doesn't have free speech. The Europeans are completely delusional. These people are just lost. They hate Trump so much they can't. They're seething over Greenland is insane. I really didn't think they would be this upset, and this would be this huge story about Greenland. This is a crisis for these people. None of these European countries outside of Denmark really have any ownership or anything to do with Greenland. Greenland is barely owned by Denmark at this point. It's like you would think if Greenland and the EU is this obsessed with, or if Denmark and the EU is this obsessed with Greenland, they would have had some crazy entrenched treaty. There's nothing even there. They barely own them. Denmark loosely owns Greenland. Now they're acting like it's this catastrophic event if the EU loses Greenland, which they barely own anyways. It's like this horrible, heinous thing. 57,000 people. 98% of the island is you can't even access it. It's either a glacier or it's a mountain. But it's this just horrifically, oh, he's such a dictator. He's going to take over 57,000 people. He's going to take over a suburban mid-sized US city. Oh my god. This can't be happening. And Trump wants to do this deal, and there's all these people that just hate Trump, and he's just like, okay, let's just negotiate, get through the hysteria, get through the waterworks. Just this, really, Denmark should be looking at this situation like Trump is delusional. We can actually get something for Greenland, which we're doing nothing with. We're subsidizing them. We're losing money every year. We can get something for Greenland, so this is great. Trump is being delusional. Why does he want it? The U.S. can already set up military bases on the island anyways, so we can get something for Greenland before we lose them for nothing. This is an amazing thing. But Denmark isn't even they don't even have an opinion. It's all the EU. It's all EU crap. It's an EU conglomerate thing. That's what I realized. It's not even Denmark doing anything. It's just the EU. So the EU is controlling really all. It's not really a negotiation. They're controlling the opinion of Denmark. Denmark would be smart to offload Greenland to the United States and make money off of it. They're already going to lose Greenland anyways. Greenland already has partial autonomy. From your information, the Insurrection Act will probably be invoked, especially in light of what happened at the church on Sunday. Well, Trump's been waiting for the right time to use it, and you wonder what's the event that pushes him off. A lot of the mob protests tried to kill what was the dude's name? Jake Lang. Yeah, they nearly killed him. The liberal mob, Marxist mob, communist mob, whatever. Yeah, they just call us Nazis. Why don't we just call them communists? I mean, call every liberal, because that's what they do. They say if you like white people, you're a Nazi. That's what it's come to. That's why I told this one guy on X, I said it's just irrelevant. You call people Nazis, it doesn't mean anything. It's a joke. You call anyone that's pro-white a Nazi, it's irrelevant. It doesn't. A national socialist. You think these people are socialists? A Nazi is just a slur for a national socialist. Bo Nix, I was surprised he got injured. I think everyone was surprised by that. Yeah, I don't. I haven't really been watching the playoffs. I think the quarterback play is subpar. Canada is pathetic, probably the most pathetic country you can think of. Canada, but it's not even that Canada's weak. Look at their GDP growth. Their country is completely stagnant. Like, what is Canada doing talking this huge game to the United States? So you're gonna get in bed with China? These countries, they think it's like this huge flex. We're gonna turn to China. You really think that's gonna work out for you? You're gonna have a working relationship with China? You know, China is a much bigger conglomerate than you. And you're going to have this crazy, because that's what all these countries do now, these Western countries. They're like, well, we don't like Trump because he's fascist, so we're going to work with China. Okay, good luck. Yeah, good luck with that. That'll go real well. But it's like they think there's this huge own. The U.S. does trade deals with China, too. I don't understand what they think it's this big thing to where they're going to get in with China. Okay. Trump is supposed to release a statement tonight during the game. A statement on the Insurrection Act, are you talking about? Or this? So they're possibly deploying soldiers to Minneapolis. I mean, the entire thing is a mess. These people, they're trying to deport illegal immigrants. How else are you going to deport them? This is the thing with these liberals. Like, what is the end game here? So you let in 1 million illegals a year. The country reacts and says, fuck that, we want these people deported. Trump wins every swing state. Now you're not going to let us deport them because you think it hurts your feelings? Like, what is the end game here is something that's not democratic. I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just saying, like, we're trying to do it democratic. We are. Trump wins democratically. He wins the popular vote. He wins everything. You guys let in all the illegals because you changed all the border policies on purpose. So now we have to be able to deport them. You're impeding us from deporting them. Like, you know, that. But the thing is it's a lot cheaper to let in the illegals than deport them. That's the problem. Letting them in, the easiest thing to do is to invest money into border patrol and border policy to keep them out in the first place. But letting them in obviously doesn't cost anything when they come in. Deporting these people, it costs like $20,000 each, or maybe more than that. Favorite fact about the Twin Towers? Maybe the foundation. Well, that's pretty boring. I'd say the restaurant in the North Tower is pretty cool. Windows of the world, I think. It's a cool feature. You don't really see that much. Well, I guess skyscrapers have it, but for an office building. Did you see? Yeah, I saw the clavicular, Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Justin Waller, I think. Dude, Justin Waller was telling clavicular, he's like, let me buy you a custom suit. It is a weird moment. It was a really weird moment. And clavicular is like, yeah, okay. He's like, let me fly you down to Tennessee and let me buy you a custom suit. This is the present I like to get for people. That's what he was saying. It's a weird moment. Your favorite crypto project partnered with World Liberty Financial? He talked about the Chicago Bears, Fuentes. Oh man, nah, yeah, that was pretty funny. But the Bears, I mean, the Bears choked. Caleb Williams choked with that. Well, I guess the interception wasn't really his fault. I guess DJ Moore gets the blame for that. But you think they want to raise the military budget from $800 billion to 1.5 trillion? No, I think they want to do it because it's a wider war with China that's going to be starting anyway, and they're expecting it at some point. That's really why Trump wants to raise the military budget so much to 1.5. But it's not surprising. You know, Republicans like raising the military budget pretty extreme. Do I read the Gateway Pundit? I've heard of it. I don't read it. Thoughts on Trump letter to Norway Prime Minister? Yeah, I thought it was kind of just weird to include the Nobel Peace Prize. He's obsessed with the Nobel Peace Prize. Did you guys see the clip that was leaked from Macron talking to him? He sounds like Jabba the Hutt, and he's like, "Give me Nobel Peace Prize." Macron's like, "Sir, we have the deal. Sir, we have the peace agreement." And then Trump's just like, "Oh, oh, 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 Nobel Peace Prize. Give me." And then Macron's like, "Yes, sir, you're going to win the Nobel Peace Prize." And then he still lost it. But he was excited for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's obsessed with the Nobel Peace Prize. And then he forced the lady that won it to give it to him. She's like, "You're going to give me that." He's like, "You're going to give me that award, right? You're going to give me that." The Venezuelan Machado. Corina Machado, I think. Why were they booing at an NBA game for Greenland? They're Euro cucks. You know, that game was in Paris, I think. It's all Euro bullshit cucks. They say, "You're not allowed to take Greenland." What is it? What do you... Listen, Greenland is not even owned really by the EU. It's barely... It's loosely owned by Denmark. It's not even an EU situation. But anything against Trump, they're going to be screaming about. They hate Trump. They blow the situation out of proportion. It's insane how crazy these people have gotten, but a lot of it is just, again, because they hate Trump. You are welcome to Starmer, Keir Starmer. Maybe we'll bring him. Well, maybe we'll bring him part of the. Yeah, I actually heard him speak today. Starmer. He was talking about the He was talking about him being angry about the Trump tariff threats, but they're not gonna do retaliatory tariffs. They want to talk us down. Panama Canal, reestablish the formal Panama. Yeah, I've heard about that. I mean, that's a possibility. You know, that's a situation where there is actual Chinese meddling, but I think they got the Chinese companies that own the ports out in the Panama Canal situation. But you're right. I mean, that's another situation. If they do end up acquiring Greenland, that would be another one, because it's just the zone. It's not the country of Panama itself. So it would just be a very small territory to control the zone and the ships that enter the canal. Don't really know if invading Greenland is a good idea. Yeah, they're not going to invade Greenland. It's going to be done. It's going to be done through a purchase. So I really don't see that really ruining many relationships. I mean, but how you get them to negotiate, that may be challenging. But I think it's done through a purchase of it. I don't think there's going to be an invasion of Greenland. You know, they're sending troops there. It's collateral. They say they send 10 troops there, 20 troops there. Denmark is now sending troops. It's all collateral because they want there to be someone there, and they could, it's basically to scare Trump and say, "Well, you know, you can't do anything if one of our troops dies. It's going to be a terrible look for you domestically," and all this. Mendoza is hurt. You got to be kidding me. Well, that's terrible. That's terrible for college football if Mendoza is actually injured. So his brother's going to come in the game? Trump will never leave NATO because the U.S. needs the air bases to commit terror strikes. Well, those countries like that those bases are there too. They like having a U.S. presence in their country because it's collateral for them. But yeah, I don't. I mean, leaving NATO, there would be a lot of shit because of our military bases overseas. How would those be worked out? I mean, you could do independent deals with countries to keep the military bases, honestly, but you don't have any sympathy for Nick Sorter, or Jake Lang. Yeah, Jake Lang got beat up really bad. He almost, it was almost going to be one of those mob situations where he gets trampled to death, Jake Lang. He barely survived that. But it is a in a lot of cases you could say, well, he's defending, and I get it. I do get it because it's just such a terrible Marxist, whatever the fuck it is, communist conglomerate of people. But it's almost like a look at me type thing, with the bacon and stuff like that. He's trying to get a rise out of people to get viewership and stuff, and that's kind of what it feels like. Myron Gaines. Yeah, Myron Gaines, I saw he was doing a campus tour or whatever. Is Myron Gaines, Nick Fuentes, Clavs, Sneeko, and the Tates really the future of the Republican Party? IDK, why they're pushing the painter as a hero? Um, what, the Hitler song? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's probably going to be a rival. It's probably going to be the further right against the establishment right, or the new establishment, I guess. If I had to guess. But Myron Gaines wants to be Nick Fuentes' VP, I heard. No, I'm just kidding. Myron Gaines. I mean, he did change his name. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy. They went to the club and whatever. I mean, it's an awkward situation, I guess, for Fuentes. Whoever controls Greenland controls trade in North Atlantic. Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you, but the tech, you could argue we already control it from that sense. Which right do you support, the alt right or the establishment right? Probably somewhere. I mean, I don't want to sound like a fence sitter, but probably somewhere in the middle of that. I mean, it depends what you define as establishment right. Depends. But I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of this stuff from the Republican Party, it's hard to see. It's tough to see a lot of this stuff. It just doesn't feel like they're going hard enough. But I know it's hard with governing. But a lot of the like the governors and the senators are really bad on the right. The refs are rigged towards Miami. Hmm. Well, they know an escalation is just going to prolong this, and it's going to be worse for their economies. The military exercises. They're here to practice fighting in frost, wind, and snow. Seriously. Really? They have to go to Greenland for that? It seems like a waste of money. Seems like this is a escalatory threat to bring some militants. But they want to have a troop presence. They want to have a troop presence on the island, I guess. Yeah, all 15 troops. Germany deployed like 13 troops and then they sent them back. What a waste of money. What a waste of a flight. They deployed 13 troops and then they said go home. Trump threatened tariffs. These 13 troops, they're like, your orders are to go to Greenland and secure the island. And then an hour later, go home. Trump threatened tariffs. Did you see Trump got the Peace Prize? Yeah, he basically forced the woman Machado to give it to him. He's like, you're gonna give me that Peace Prize, right? He's like, you need to give me that, and I'll install you as the leader of Venezuela. I mean, that's probably what happened if I had to guess. He said, yeah, I'm gonna be taking that Peace Prize. So now they have to recognize Trump. Honest thoughts on MLK? Was he a good man or a puppet? Did the FBI really end him? Well, I know he definitely would have been extremely liberal. There's a lot of revisionist history that's been done on MLK, and I've heard some people talk about. I think MLK is going to be remembered a lot differently in 20 or 30 years, especially among Gen Z. MLK really doesn't have this god status among Gen Z, and so yeah, he would be extremely liberal in the modern time. So, I mean, I don't know about the FBI in terms of his assassination. I don't know about that. Am I going to discuss the Syria shit show? Also, in your opinion, he has to attack Iran because he said he would. Well, with Iran, I think the attack is coming. They don't know when. There was a report that he was going to do it, and it did seem like there was. You can kind of tell, like, just based on movement of certain carriers and military equipment, they were going to do the attack probably like a week ago. Honestly, probably the last time I streamed. There was a lot of rumblings that it was going to come that night, and then it was reported that Trump literally said, no, we're not doing the attack because he didn't get the right. He said the regime wouldn't be out. I mean, there's going to be a strike on Iran. They're waiting for the right time, and they're trying to completely eliminate the regime. Trump, the way Trump does the geopolitical politics, he likes it happening. He likes it to happen very swiftly, so he doesn't want things to linger. But I don't know about that, man. Like a regime change in Iran, that seems like it'd be even if it was through the people, it seems like it would be a mess. Like, I don't even know what happens after a strike. I don't think their regime is going to fall. Well, he was gonna do the attack was literally gonna be a week ago or like 6 days ago, and he called it off. It's looking like Georgia TCU. No way. It's that big of a blowout. We don't need NATO for Europe. You want to have the mainland bases. Yeah, we want the mainland bases. But I mean, whether you love NATO or hate NATO, I mean, there are benefits to being in NATO for the United States. I would argue, I mean, it's hard to say, but because of how big a military the U is compared to all the other countries in Europe, but it's also a stabilization. I mean, think about Europe and how much of a hotbed it is, especially we saw with World War I and World War II. If you have the U.S. and a military pact with all the European countries, it kind of stabilizes Europe to a degree. If you get out of that, that potentially creates problems. But I mean, at the end of the day, there could just be the threat from Trump. We're going to leave NATO unless you give us Greenland. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. I can't see. I mean, just the relationship. See, it would be one thing if like Greenland was this huge European Union chokehold and they controlled all of this shipping and everything, and they've been there for years and they have all this sophistication on Greenland, and Trump says, no, I want that. But that's not what this is. I mean, it's just the country is largely abandoned. I think the U.S. probably has the most military presence on Greenland. So the idea that these people would go crazy over it, it's just such, even just based on the island, the situation of the island is ridiculous. Whoever gets the most medals in the upcoming Olympics, the Winter Olympics, it's like in Italy. The Winter Olympics, well, maybe Norway, Sweden. Those countries get a lot of medals in the Winter Olympics. Yeah, I think baseball is terrible with what the Dodgers are doing. It's horrible, and they're going to be in for a long. Baseball is going to be in for a really bad lockout. I think they're gonna lose a season. Maybe not, but I think they're going to lose a season because of this lockout because it's such a mess. The deferment, you shouldn't be able to defer money. That you're just destroying the purpose of a salary cap when you defer money like they do with Otani, and they've broken this. They've broken the entire rules of any type of roster construction for baseball. The Dodgers have, and so they're gonna have this long lockout, and I think they're gonna try and establish a salary floor and a salary cap. But it's also they're gonna have to change the structure of contracts and stuff, and how you can't hide or defer money. I mean, look at the NFL. The NFL has a mess with deferring money as well, and there's the salary cap situation. A lot of these teams get in. You consider ICE to be federal officers? It depends the qualification. I think some agents probably are qualified more so to wear, because some of these people get hired off the streets. I don't think you can be a federal officer doing that. It depends your previous work experience, but at a certain point, there's going to be the authority for some of these guys to, because it's unfortunate they don't have really the authority to do anything. They get harassed, and I mean, obviously, you're not going to do this to police. Newsome podcast with Ben Shapiro was slop. I didn't watch it at all. It must not have been good. I saw one clip from it. That was it. The Newsome podcast with Shapiro. So if that's it, this probably wasn't very. I didn't even know Newsome was still doing the podcasts. I thought he gave it up. Thoughts on China and Taiwan relations? Well, China views Taiwan as a part of China, so their relations are not good. Their relations are not going to improve anytime soon. If they're federal officers, why are they in military clothing and military grade equipment and vehicles? Are they not Trump's secret police force? What immigration enforcement is? They're not Trump's secret police force. They're enforcing stuff for Trump. That doesn't even make any sense. No, they're just trying to deport illegal immigrants. Are they threatening like liberals who hate Trump? That's not what they're doing. That's not the purpose of them. So the connotation that they're Trump's secret police force, that would involve them like threatening liberals who don't like Trump. That's not what's happening. They're just trying to deport illegal immigrants. So no, that's not right. Don Lemon. Yeah, Don Lemon, we'll see what happens. I mean, you can't do what he did, so he's gonna start crying and say I'm a martyr and all this. This is what these people do. Have you seen videos of lines of people in Alberta voting for separation referendum? They're huge. I have heard a few things on that. I didn't see the actual visuals of it. I didn't see that. They're only deporting non-Caucasians because Caucasians are legal immigrants. You're not. I mean, you're not gonna find too many illegal immigrants that are white people. Did you hear the thunder snow? Yeah, I think I did hear thunder snow. I believe I did. But it's really cold, man. It's very cold this week. Very cold. ISIS fighters being released by Turkey-backed militants. Turkey being in NATO is causing this, so NATO is destabilizing the Middle East. Well, I think the Middle East is always destabilized. Are you watching the Natty? I'll probably watch the second half. I knew it was going to be freezing this next week because they said it, and there's apparently a huge snowstorm happening to the south of me. So in like West Virginia and North Carolina and probably the DC area, maybe they're going to be getting like 12 inches of snow, 14 inches maybe. Thank you for admitting the country is only for Caucasians. People like you seriously make me angry at my race. Well, yeah, that therein lies the issue. You do have white guilt. You have suicidal empathy. You should probably go to therapy. So maybe this can be a moment for you to help yourself. Yeah, I did see Fuentes defending. Well, it was a he said, well, they're not 5-year-olds or whatever. I mean, it's a bad clip for him. because you know how people are going to take that, and it's not good. Yeah, go read the 1790 Naturalization Act. Liberals love talking about the founding fathers until they talk about the race requirements of the country. If you lived in Florida, would you vote for Donald's or Fishback? I think Fishback is kind of a joke, but I like Fishback's policies better than Donald's. Donald's to me is just a bad politician, straight up. It's kind of like Vivek. Well, I don't know. Maybe Vivek, I guess, could be good, but it's just the policies. But I don't think it's hard to really see Fishback doing anything. The funding apparatus that Donald's has is crazy. Yeah, you got to stop responding to him. You got to. I mean, listen, he is donating. That's the thing is, I wouldn't read his stuff off, but if you donate $5 a pop, I mean, I do respect. To a degree, I have to kind of read it. Unless it's like just pure trolling. Because obviously, if he's not donating to me, I'm not going to read any of that. Because it's just going to take the chat off the rails. Are you the only person over 30? Well, I'm a younger person. If you want to chat with a bunch of old people, it's probably going to be an older person, an older YouTuber. H1Bs. Yeah, I don't have an update on the H1B situation. I don't know. I think they have temporarily restricted them or something, and it was being fought. Bro is paying to argue with me. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you could give me $2. That's the other thing is you could technically donate me $2 instead of 5 if you really wanted to get into an argument. So all the brown doctors and construction workers who build your house, all the non-Caucasians who built this country don't matter to you. Well, that's actually completely false. The country was 90% white until around 1950, 1960. The vast, 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 vast majority of the country was built by white people. The vast majority. That's false completely. That's got to be rage bait. But that's something that, see, this is what liberals say. This is just not true. Sir, do you know the country was 90% white until 1965? Do you know that? All right, he's just going to rage bait me. Why don't we look at all the inventions? Who made the vast majority of the inventions of the country? I mean, Eric has news about Greenland. Trump is at the national championship game. Did you see the Casey Putsch guy? Yeah, I seen him. I seen him, and he needs to go bald. Number one. Number two, you're just the problem is this is the problem. It's Donald's and Vivek. They're both funded by Trump, or they're both endorsed by Trump. So if Donald's and Vivek are both endorsed by Trump, whether it's Fishback or Putsch or whoever it is. When the country was 90% Caucasian, our life expectancy was lower. We had more hurtful laws, and we had more wars. Dude, the country, for the middle class, the country was way. Number one, life expectancy is just based on technological advancement. So obviously, the life expectancy, the further you get, is going to increase no matter what. And that's life expectancy just in general because science is better. But in terms of like the middle class, just average success, being able to afford things, it was a lot easier for people in the 1950s. Now, I would say overall, because of technology, you could say the country is more livable. But that, again, that's just because we would hope with technological advancements, it would be easier for people in 2025 than it would be in 1950 with entertainment and things like that. But in some cases, it's not. Really depends on the person. You could support a family with one income. Yeah, well, that's when homes were a lot less expensive, single family homes. And there's a lot that goes into it, but immigration is certainly one thing. It makes the housing market a lot more competitive. But there is more than that. Life expectancy is skewed by childhood death. Yeah, but even in life expectancy is just a byproduct of technological advancement going up. I mean, obviously it's going to go up. That's not actually a sane argument. Stop responding. I mean, the dude's donating me money. You want me to stop responding to it? He's gonna stop donating. He's gonna stop. All right, I'll stop responding to him. But then my donations are gonna be cut off. Seems like a lot of people in Ohio don't like Vivek, or is the media forcing him? Vivek is not very popular with middle class people. Working class, he's not popular. And it's a problem. We wouldn't survive a day if we had... All right, you're not going to derail the stream, though, man. All right, you can go to another stream. Because I don't want this to be a thing. I don't want to have this kind of... Like, I'm not going to survive working on a farm. Well, I think you're a product of your environment, so... Obviously, people would have to adapt if you were born in a different time period, but... Whale? Bro's a whale. Bro, this guy, we might have to just get, because the chat has been rage baited by him now. All right, just don't respond to him. Just don't respond to him now. I think Drake, I don't know if Drake may win MVP. It's 50-50. I think they're going to give it to Stafford. How many MVPs has Stafford won? I don't think he's won any. Yeah, Stafford's won no MVPs. Fatty Matt is ridiculous. Based fatty. Based fat man alert. Based liberal. Dark woke. Dark woke, the biggest cope. The biggest cope on the internet is dark woke. Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate singing HH. Oh, yeah. That was an interesting video to see for sure. Dude, did you see they're like Andrew Tate in the building? Then did you see the statement they put after it? The nightclub was like, "Oh, this is terrible. We can't allow this." They tried putting out a statement saying, they were forced to put out a statement. But that was crazy that they got all those guys together. End the stream, let's go watch the Natty. I mean, nobody's stopping you from watching the Natty. What do you don't have allegiance? You're like tied to the stream. I have to end the stream for you to watch the Natty. Maybe at halftime I'll end the stream and I'll watch it. Macron thinks he's Napoleon. He role plays, yes, he role plays. Dude, I destroyed every one of your points by a long shot. You irrationally claimed that the country was and lied and said the country was built by brown people. I said the country was 90% white and basically everything was created by white people in this country up until 1950. And then you tried changing the topic. And then you tried changing the topic to say, you can't live in 1950. You're too soft. Okay. Do you know that Indians in Canada will overstay their visas because they know we don't have ice to remove them? Yeah, I mean, the Canadian system I think is terrible. How many people do you think overstay their visas in Canada? Well, Canada is a lot more liberal, so I don't think Canada's doing much deportation, if I had to guess. Did you see the Nick Channel 5 interview with Nick Shirley? Andrew Callahan was editing it to make Dems look better. Nick was recording side by side and cut. Yeah, I saw that, and that's it was about 2 hours 40 minutes, and he edited it down to an hour. It's unfortunate that people do that, and you'd think that dude, that Andrew Callahan dude, who's like supposed to be this funny guy, you're really gonna resort to media tactics. And why is that dude a liberal? I mean, his entire thing is like this, almost like libertarian funny thing, and he's like this weird liberal. I don't know. No, I don't think most of my viewers are because of the 9/11, especially the live stream viewers. How long do you think until Greenland will be ours? Maybe a few months. All right, I'll try and find it. I'll try and find it. This is it.
The pastors tried to engage in conversation. That wasn't going to take place.
This is illegal. You can't bum rush a church service.
But the young lady mentioned that after it all calmed down, after it all settled down, that church and many other people from the area in Minneapolis regathered last night in the church, and they had their worship service.
Well, thank goodness they were able to do that. You know, Pastor, you spoke with the young woman in that church.
Yeah.
Was she scared when that happened?
She was somewhat scared, but she had confidence that the Lord was really going to protect them from violence, and there was just a lot of verbal agitation, verbal accusations, a lot of lies. I mean, you heard Don Lemon spewing a lot of lies, in my opinion. So, yes, there was some fear, but there was a sense of calm because of the way the pastors led and handled it. The pastors.
I wonder what the crowd is. The crowd's probably 70-30 pro Indiana. That's what people were saying, apparently.
We hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright.
The crowd's pro Indiana. Rubio. How much would you pay for Greenland? I mean, it's a priceless. I mean, you can't really put a price on it. It's they're saying 700 billion. I don't know. I mean, you want to do it diplomatically, but Brigitte Macron smash or pass? Why don't you ask Candace Owens? You ate Carson Beck. Carson Beck was like, yeah, did you hear what Carson Beck said? He's like, I haven't attended school in 2 years. These kids don't even go to school in college. It's just the athletes, there's no way. I don't think any of them attend any type of schooling at all. I mean, if you're getting like a $2 million contract, it's such a joke. Do you have faith in the Broncos? I don't have faith in any of these teams. The Broncos with Jarrett Stidham, that's a joke, man. But they could honestly beat the Patriots. It's not like the Patriots are this crazy great team. I mean, I guess the Patriots are good, but they've also had a ridiculously easy schedule. What's going on with Laura Loomer? She's just fanatically pro-Israel on basically everything, and people have turned against Israel, so I think she's just floundered. I don't know what the recent stuff is with her. You're a Georgia fan? Yeah, he was a turnover machine at Georgia. He could never really put it together. Now he transfers to Miami. Miami always gets these transfer QBs. They're getting another one. Mendoza scored again. Yeah, stream is good. Stream should be good. Yeah, there was connection issue for a second though. Well, I don't understand where Don Lemon gets off. You can't interrupt a religious proceeding. It's like these people, they think the law doesn't apply to them, and then they just try and claim martyr status. That's basically it. I haven't seen much from Benny Johnson. He really hasn't shown up on my timeline. Benny Johnson. Do you think Trump and the EU work something? I think I responded to this, but maybe it was lagging. Yeah, I think they might work something out. We'll see. At their meetings. You should watch Premier League or MLS. Yeah, I could never really get into soccer. I mean, I know it's I know soccer is very people are very passionate about it in Europe and South America. Amy Acton. Now, Amy Acton is a bad politician, but she might win because Vivek is just not liked by a lot of independents in Ohio or even lukewarm Republicans. Do you think Trump and the Danish king should fight at the UFC event? Winner takes Greenland. I don't know if Trump would make the weight class of that. They'd have to cut a lot of weight, let's just say. He might have to cut a lot of weight for that. Jarrett Stidham being slept on. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just more bad quarterback play, in my opinion.
He felt very strongly we need it for we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge, so we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland, he felt.
They want to defuse Trump during talks, according to Politico. The pressure needs to come down. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Trump buckles. I don't think he's going to. What are they going to offer Trump exactly? If they want to defuse it, they're going to have to offer him something. Europe needs the U.S. way more than the U.S. needs Europe. Oh, 100%. Even just geographically, let alone the military, situation. Geographically, all those countries. And they can say, well, it's all for one for all. It's the European Union. Brexit just happened. Think about how big the UK is, or previously was, to the EU, and they lost them. So it's a lot of bluffing, and again, their geographic situation is a lot tougher than ours. We're surrounded by oceans and countries that are a lot weaker than us. So they want to do this, and their only argument is like, oh, you're going to be isolated. That's the only argument they have. Their argument is not, you're going to be invaded, your country's going to not be sovereign anymore, because they know it's ridiculous. The only thing they can say is you're going to be isolated. Okay? How come you don't stream anymore? This is a trick question. You're asking me how come I don't stream when I'm streaming. Sir. Come on. I mean, I don't stream as much because there's not, if there's news, I'll probably stream it. If there's news, if there's a breaking story, I'll stream it. Like Greenland or, situation like that. Was Brexit good for the UK? I support that. I support it because I hate the EU. Well, I don't hate the EU, but I think the EU is pompous and arrogant. So the EU got significantly weaker off of that, and they got a better. The UK got independence in terms of their trade and a lot of things. So you can understand why they did it. And also it's like, what's the worst that can happen with Europe? It doesn't really. I don't think the countries are going to be fighting each other like the UK is going to be fighting France or Italy or thoughts on CJ Stroud? Terrible, just unacceptable quarterback play. He was missing players, but just not. This is what the NFL is now. I didn't stream for almost 3 weeks. That was during Christmas, though. Thoughts on splitting Europe in half between U.S. and Russia? No, that's ridiculous. No, we don't want to split Europe in half or anything. Those countries have serious history. Those countries are fine. I just think they're bullheaded, and they have TDS in terms of, no one's splitting the countries with Russia. I want Europe to exist for the future, and I want their countries to stop accepting immigrants is what I really want, and I want their countries to exist, but we want the transition to happen with Greenland. Greenland is not this crazy ask by Trump at all. It's really not. If he asked for, Ireland or Iceland or another, European country, I think that'd be a bit crazy, but you're in Minneapolis right now. You saw a childcare sign. Yeah, that's terrible. That entire operation got blown up by Shirley. That entire operation. Now what happens? Are they actually even going to look into that? Is it a federal investigation with that type of Somali fraud? You have to wonder what happens with that because the local people are all liberal. They're not going to sniff around with any of that stuff. You're an investigative journalist. You're probably not going to investigate that either because a lot of these people that investigate are liberal. They're not going to shine a light into immigrant scams. Geographically, Greenland should be Canada. Well, wait a minute. Then Alaska, in that same premise, do you think Alaska should also be Canadian then? If you're just going by that type of, proximity. You should do most controversial ref calls in NFL. Yeah, that's not really what my channel. That's not what my channel is. I mean, I'm sure there's other channels that have videos like that. Yeah, I could do a pull up for sure. I used to do like 10, 20 pull ups. I could definitely pound out a few pull ups for sure. Yeah, it is pretty insane. How they're trying to oppose all the voting laws. Will Minnesota declare war on ice? No, 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 no. No, they're not going to do anything like that. Well, at least the leadership won't. Now, I don't know about the protests getting out of control, and we've seen some of them turn into almost riot situations on the weekends. But Waltz has already walked it back, and he said that he wants it to be diffused. As a cope, when people say they don't need to go to a gym, depends what they look like. The gym will help you pretty much no matter what, but it depends what you look like. I mean, if you're a skinnier person, you still want to build muscle, but I can understand not going as much. I mean, the gym it's good for you. It is. And that's from someone that I don't go to the gym anymore, but it is good for you. Ever make any friends from your audience? No, I really haven't been in a setting to meet people IRL. You quit the gym again? Well, I mean, I never really went. I used to go, but recently I haven't gone. Get a shitty home gym. Yeah, I mean, home gyms. It depends. It's kind of hard. Home gyms. It depends how big your house is, but I actually like going to a real gym as long as it's not busy because it's a better mentality. Will Trump get Iceland and the Philippines? Philippines has a massive population. Massive. Iceland's not going to happen. But it would kind of be similar to Greenland, but not as realistic. I mean, look at the proximity to Europe and Iceland versus Greenland, the populations. Yeah, I think it's Greenland or nothing. That's what I think with that. I don't think there's going to be any other additions. Maybe the Panama Canal Zone. Home gym just occupies space, right? I mean, especially if you're in a house that's like 1,800 square feet, you're dedicating an entire room to a gym. That's pretty challenging. I mean, if you're gonna have a bigger single family home that's like over 3,000 square feet or 2,800, I mean, you can understand a gym. You could understand dedicating a room or a space to a gym. But if you have a smaller home, it's hard to do. Did you see Putin's daughter roaming around Paris? No, I haven't seen that. After your political commentary, your channel blew up. The sports content wasn't getting as many views. Well, you can't really. It's not manageable, man. It's really not. It's not. You can't do both at once and have a successful operation because people want one or the other. I mean, that's why their channels stick to a certain set of content. Tim Pool has Nick Fuentes on. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he was having him on tonight. You could do a lot of exercises at home. The problem is I'm not in the mood at home. If I actually dedicate to drive somewhere, I think it puts me in a better space to work out. That's just kind of how I feel. Clip of a reporter pressing Putin's daughter while she was walking down the street. Yeah, those videos of the Russian snow are mainly fake, and they're disturbing. They look real. But with the kids sledding, that's completely fake. Russia got, I think, what was it, like 100 feet of snow or something in a city on the eastern side of the country. But they're starting to make AI videos and AI photos of it. Drake May is a good player. I don't know how good he is. I mean, they've kind of gotten lucky this year with the schedule, but you'd love to see my cat again. Well, he's not in here. He would be probably sleeping in maybe in my room. Well, homelessness is higher in California for their social reasons, and also it's always warm in California, so it's an easier place for homeless to exist versus a cold climate. But it's also just because the hubs in terms of the population centers and dude, I don't know about this clip, man. It seems like you really want it. It's just weird. Like this is a waste of money. This is a waste of resources. This is collateral for them, so they send in these troops to Greenland because they say, well, if the US invades and something happens, it's going to be a deterrent of the invasion. What a giant waste of time. Thoughts on Matt Ryan being president of the Falcons? I mean, I don't know. What do you really do? Is it like a general manager type job? You're president of the Falcons. What is he, like the spokesperson of the Falcons? Ever do a 2026 updated conference arena rankings vid? What do you mean, like a stadium rankings vid? I don't know about that. Winter is easier than summer. Well, it depends if you have. I would disagree. I mean, yeah, there's more wildlife and insects, but the cold is way worse than that. Than sleeping in 70-degree weather. Should we annex Greenland since Denmark and the EU are stubborn children? You know, you have to at some point be tempted to do that, and you wonder because there's obviously going to be a lot of threats, and they say you're going to destroy the world order and stuff, and I really don't really think that would happen. I really don't. I just don't think Greenland is that much important because there's really not much that would change. I mean, the United States already has full access to Greenland already, so these countries would destroy their relationship with the U.S. over it. I don't really buy it because obviously there's going to be a lot of this like crazy hysteria of like you can't do that and that's terrible. I mean, I don't think they should annex it, but I do wonder if, you know, I'm not. I don't think. I think they're over exaggerating what would happen if they actually annexed it. I don't think there'd be as much blowback. I don't see it. I don't see them destroying their relationship with us. They just simply don't have the leverage to do it. Miami just missed an easy field goal. Let me actually look at this game. I mean, we're getting like updates from these people. ESPN. And then it's going to take a year to load. Bro. Oh my goodness. Now it's saying I don't even have internet. Okay, there it is. Wow, what a boring game. 10-0. 10-0 at half almost. Yeah, I think Indiana's going to win, obviously, but... Love the content started watching with Venezuela raid. Will continue. Yeah, I really didn't have much content going on until the Greenland thing happened, so now you know, you can make these videos daily because it keeps evolving. See, other stuff, it's just, I'm not as good on, but with Greenland, I like the Greenland stuff. You know, I was doing a lot of videos on Greenland last year, and I kept making videos too, and when people weren't making them because the situation died down, but now it's back. But now it's back, and hopefully it drags on. Hopefully it drags on for a little bit. But I'd be fine with Trump acquiring it, you know, within the next few weeks if that could happen. I don't know. I don't know if that's possible, but... Putin's alleged secret daughter confronted by Ukrainian reporter. How Putin's exiled daughter shares he went to a strip club with a boss. Amazing World War II iceberg video. Thank you. Yeah, that was that took a long time to make. Yeah, that one took a long time to make. Let's hope that one does well. Let's hope that one does well. Yeah, but I don't even think Baker Mayfield's that good anymore, honestly. I mean, you should cover Nick Fuentes' drama, would get a lot of views. The drama with him going to the club, you're saying? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, you start making videos like that, I think the audience would just turn completely groiper if I had to guess. So it's like a tactical decision. Miami's getting a lot of the calls. They're still losing. That's what people are telling me. Yeah, Miami's not going to win this game. They're not that good. They're not that good. I mean, this is Indiana's year. People keep thinking Indiana. I think Indiana's going to come back down to the pack a little bit next year. Let's calm down. People think Indiana's going to have this dynasty. That's what they always say when a team wins. Would you ever consider doing Democrat or Republican Party iceberg? I don't think like the party itself. I think like American Revolution would be a good iceberg. Civil War would be a good iceberg in terms of the American stuff. I don't know if the specific parties would be good icebergs. It has to be kind of an event, not a like. I mean, the parties doing a party iceberg would probably just include the most important figures. I don't really think that's. 10 seed versus 1 seed, not shocked. Yeah. Cold War. I think I would do World War II Part 2. If it gets good views, I'll probably just do World War II Part 2 and then maybe Cold War, maybe Civil War. But the problem with the Civil War is there's no visuals because the time, there's no like great photos of it. So it'd be harder to do. Minnesota protesters stealing ICE documents and weapons. One of my thoughts, they should be arrested. But a lot of it is like liberal DAs, they don't get charged. Yeah, they said they're going to get rid of all the Doge cuts. Like, come on. Come on, man. They're like, the Doge didn't even barely cut anything, and they're still like, we're gonna get rid of all of the cuts. Thoughts on the doomsday clock? It's ridiculous. They move the doomsday clock like 1/100th of a second, and they try. A lot of it's done now for like so people look at what they do, and so they keep moving it closer and closer. I think it's done for like for ratings and whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. That doesn't even. Don't they move it like once a year? Couldn't you easily estimate like the current geopolitical climate a lot easier using AI and have a complete up-to-date look at everything? It's just like a look at me bullshit thing that doesn't matter if they move it once a year. Don't do Vietnam iceberg. Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff is probably pretty boring to do. Like some of the war. I mean, Middle East, like the early 2000s Middle East events would be interesting because it would be tied to 9/11. Even before that. When do you suppose we'll start on Cuba? Yeah, I think I've heard about Cuba being next, but you hear Cuba, you hear Mexico, you hear Colombia. It's others. You hear the Panama Canal Zone. It's going to be heavily Latin American. I mean, we'll see what happens with Greenland, but these type of things, I think there's going to be a focus on maybe during Trump's year 3 or whatever. But yeah, there's definitely going to be something that happens with the Latin American countries outside of what just happened with Venezuela, because that was obviously a big step to more hemispheric dominance, and they're going to have a definitely a pro-Western government that's cooperative. But I don't think the U.S. should take over Venezuela, because I think that creates that just creates a situation that's destabilized, and you don't want to have control over that many people. And you think Trump has 3 geopolitical objectives: acquisition of Greenland, taking possession of the Panama Canal Zone, and end the Russia-Ukraine war. Yeah, no, I think that's possible. Yeah, I haven't heard much recently about the Panama Canal Zone, but I definitely think that's something. I mean, we didn't hear much about Greenland for a little while there, so he could circle back on it for sure. Marcus Freeman is on the halftime report. Yeah, I saw him. I saw him on the pregame show. So, I mean, Notre Dame, they've got a good program right now. There was a chance that Marcus Freeman was going to take an NFL job. I think the ballroom will be done probably in 2027. I don't know exactly, though. Not exactly sure on that. Yeah, well, they completely, lie about the history of the founding of the U.S. I really think all of these liberals, I mean, you never see during any of these debates, it's interesting. You'd like for one of these conservatives to say just to these people, the United States was 90% white until 1960. What do you think about that? Because these people, they think like the country spawned in as this melting pot, and then just these evil white people had became this power within the country. That's not how the country was created at all. Like, I don't think they really have they don't have an understanding of the demographical history of the U.S. That's a big issue. And so how did the country become so great in the first place? They really can't refute that. There's no argument because it's just based off of history. Is the woke Bad Bunny stuff why you quit watching the NFL? No, I just don't really like the NFL, the product of the NFL, or you lose interest with a lot of this stuff when you grow up. But the NFL, if you were gonna leave the NFL 2020, there was all that political shit with the NFL in 2020. But the Bad Bunny stuff, it's more they want the league globalized. So Bad Bunny appeals to a bunch of people. Not many of them are American. They don't give a fuck because they want the league globalized in a way to where they have a global market, not just an American market. Yeah, I saw Tucker Carlson was at the White House with Trump. I think Trump is still friends with Tucker. Tucker really hasn't fully left. Tucker's made a lot of comments that are anti-Israel, but he hasn't really left Trump and said that, he hasn't really making the leap. Fuentes will criticize Trump significantly. Tucker really doesn't do that. He tries to keep the relationship with him. So now he takes this photo with Trump at the White House and all these Israel people throw a fit. So we'll have to see what happens with that. All the fraud stuff is put on the back burner now. Well, that's just how it works, unfortunately. I mean, you can only capture the attention for so long. I mean, obviously politics is going to be more entertaining with Trump. It's just how it is because he is in it more of an entertainer. I mean, he came from he's not a career politician. And also, I mean, he just says shit that there's no way other presidents would say, so it's just inherently more entertaining and non-presidential. 9:26. All right, guys, I am gonna go watch the second half of the game, but I don't think it'll be very good, honestly. I think Indiana will win, but that is gonna do it for this stream. Thoughts on U.S.-Russian alliance? I mean, I think it makes sense, but unfortunately, if a liberal takes office, I mean, I don't see where it goes from there. But a more cordial alliance with Russia makes sense, especially with what Putin has been saying. But again, they're going to be like, oh, you can't do that. You're going to disrespect the European countries. But if it can help create a peace deal with Russia, Ukraine, I think you kind of have to do it. All right, guys. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Make sure you like the stream on your way out. Thank you.